Hello guys, today I finished collecting every single CSGO skin in existence, including the new Operation Broken Fang collection skins. This is going to be a long video, but grab yourself a drink, grab yourself some popcorn, and let's jump into it. By the way, guys, it's just every weapon skin, not including every single condition, not including souvenir skins, and also not including the knives or gloves, because that would literally be millions of dollars. But hey, at least I beat Anomaly to it. GG, man. But anyways, guys, let's jump into it. Hey, what's up, guys? It's Tuber here, and welcome back to a brand new video. And today, I finished the full CSGO skin collection again, post Broken Fang operation. So you guys probably know that I think in about in April or so, I collected every CSGO skin in the game at the time. And then as every new case came out, I picked all the skins up. But because a new operation dropped over a week ago, there were 3 new collections and a brand new case worth of skins that I had to pick up. And today I got the final skin in the collection. I finally got the fade. So now I have completed everything. So I guess we're going to go through every single collection in the game, and I'll show you guys what does it look like to really own every CSGO skin, because a lot of people don't really understand. A lot of people don't really know how many skins there actually are. There's almost 1,000, which is pretty ridiculous. But of course, the Howl's not part of any particular collection, but I do have one of them, of course. And then of course, there's the Huntsman collection. So there's the Vulcan, and then of course, there's the Desert Strike as the 2 coverts for this collection right here. And then there's the Arms Deal collection, which is actually the first CSGO case to ever come out. This was the one that had the AK case hardened, as well as the Op Lightning Strike. All right, then of course you can't forget about the Esports 2013 collection. Actually, one of the literally the first esports collections to come out in the game. This was the one that had the Death by Kitty, of course, as well as the Red Laminate and the Op Boom. So those are the main highlights from that collection. And then of course after that came the Bravo collection, which of course had the Golden Koi, and it also had the Fire Serpent. Still today, one of the most expensive AKs in the game, just because the case is rare. Moving on, we have the Arms Deal 2 collection, which of course has the Blood in the Water, and then it has the P90 Cold-Blooded, the USPS Serum, and some pretty cool skins, plus the 5.7 case hardened. After that is the Esports 2013 Winter Collection, and this one had the X-Ray as well as the Electric Hive plus the Cobalt Disruption. So honestly, it actually had some pretty solid skins. All right, moving on. The next one was the Winter Offensive Collection, and this one was amazing. Of course, it had the Op Redline, it had the M4A4 Asimov, and then the Sawed Off the Kraken, which isn't really too great, but in my opinion, this is still one of my favorite Sawed Offs. And then after that was the Arms Deal 3 collection, and this was a case that literally only had pistols, and the best one of course was the CZ Victoria, plus it had the Fuchsia Is Now. By the way, this isn't in the exact order that it came out. The order is a little weird. This is literally just me turning on collection and then just scrolling up. So the next collection, of course, is the Phoenix collection. This one was also pretty awesome too, because it had the AK Redline, as well as the Op Asimov and the infamous AUG Chameleon. Next up is the Breakout collection, and this one had, of course, the Water Elemental, the Deagle Conspiracy, the P90 Asimov, and the M4A1S Cyrex. And of course, ladies and gentlemen, of course, you can't forget about the Esports 2014 Summer Collection. This one, of course, had the Deagle Crimson Web, which was the first time that the Crimson Web came to an actual skin that wasn't a knife. Then, of course, it also had the AK Jaguar as well as the M4 Bullet Rain. Next up, of course, was the Vanguard Collection with such classics as the AK-47 Wasteland Rebel, of course the Griffin, as well as the P2000 Fire Elemental. Next up was the Chroma Collection, and this one included a bunch of new Knives, basically. It included the Rubies, the Sapphires, all that stuff. This is basically when those amazing knives came to the game. In this case, it had some bangers, of course. It obviously had the AK Elite build, which was one of the most popular AKs on a budget for a very long time. It also had the Worm God 2, plus the MAC-10 Neon Rider and the M41S Hyper Beast. All right, so moving on. Next up, we of course have the Dust Collection, and this one had the Deagle Blaze, just an absolutely infamous, or not an infamous skin. This is a very famous Deagle. Essentially, it was the best Deagle in the game for a very long time, and some people argue that it's still the best one in the game. And honestly, I kind of agree a little bit. Also, the Op Snake camo is ridiculously overpriced for what it is. But anyways, though, next up we have the Aztec collection, which honestly doesn't really have anything good. Pretty much the best thing in this case is literally the Tech 9 ossified, which isn't even that good. So the Aztec collection is kind of lame. Then there's the Vertigo collection, which is kind of the same, but it does have the AK Black Laminate, of course, as well as the Dual Berettas Demolitions. These are honestly pretty cool. Then there's the Inferno collection, of course, the original Inferno collection, and this one also doesn't really have anything too crazy. Literally the best thing in this case is the Tech 9 Brass, as well as the Dual Berettas Anodized Navy, and these are just blues, so they're not really that good. Next up is the Militia collection, and this one brought us the Modern Hunters, of course, as well as the Blaze Orange and the M4A4 Modern Hunter, plus the Scar 20 Splash Jam. Alright, but next up though was the original Nuke collection, and this one had the P250 Nuclear Threat, which these are really expensive in factory new, and they also have the Tech 9 Nuclear Threat, plus the M4A4 Radiation Hazard, and just a bunch of other nuke themed skins. Then of course there was the Office collection, which is basically all white and gray skins. The best skin of course in this case is, in my opinion, the MP7 Whiteout. Absolutely an awesome skin, just because it's so clean. And then next up of course was the Assault collection. And this one, you guys know this one, of course. There's the Anodized Navy, which is the most expensive blue in the game. There's the AUG Hot Rod, of course, which is pretty expensive too, but it's awesome. And then there's the MP9 Bulldozer, and then of course the Glock Fade, everyone's favorite Glock. Moving on though to the Alpha collection, this one had, so from this collection, the best thing was the FAMAS Spitfire, as well as the Scar 20 Emerald, and the rest is just kind of mediocre, except for the Glock 18 Sandine. This is the best skin in the game, dude, straight up. All right, but after that collection, of course, came the Dust 2 collection, and this one really wasn't too great. Of course, it had the AK Safari Mesh and the R8 Revolver Amber Fade, and yeah, as you can tell, not really the best case in the game, but hey, it's just more skins to collect essentially. And then next up after that was the Trin collection, and the best thing of course was the Red Quartz. Not really too crazy, just overall a pretty mediocre collection. However, the Mirage collection was pretty much the same, with a couple exceptions of course. The UMP Blaze, in my opinion, is an awesome skin. So is the Hot Rod, of course. The Hot Rod is one of my favorite MP9s. And then there's the Mag 7 Bulldozer, which is kind of cool, but you have to get it in like factory new for it to look clean. Then of course there was also the Italy collection, which had such great skins as the Op Pit Viper and the Glock 18 Candy Apple. Yeah. So there's a lot of collections that don't really have amazing skins, of course. But ladies and gentlemen, next up is the Lake collection, and this one had the Op Safari Mesh. You guys love this skin, of course. I know you guys love it because it's so high tier. And then it also has the Cobalt Quartz Dualies. Pretty cool actually. After that was the Safe House collection, and this one had a bunch of junk skins, but it also had the M4A1S Nitro, which in factory new looks incredibly clean. Next up was the Bank collection, and this one had more junk skins, but it also had the P250 Franklin, which is just overall amazing because it just has like a bunch of $100 bills on it. Speaking of $100 bills, the Overpass collection came next, and this was actually the first collection in a long time to have some amazing skins. Of course, you can't forget about the Op Pink DD Pat. Oh, and then the best skin, of course, from the collection was the M4A1S Masterpiece. Next up, we have the Cobblestone collection, one of the most famous collections in CSGO history. This one, of course, has the Deagle Hand Cannon, there's the CZ Auto Chalice, the M4A1S Knight, and the famous skin, one of the most well-known skins in CSGO history, the Dragon Lore, or as I call it, the Lore Owl. Yep. But moving on though, ladies and gentlemen, we have the Baggage collection, and this one actually had some baggage kind of themed skins, including the Business Class, the Pilot, the First Class, and the AK-47 Jet Set, which has a bunch of stickers all over it, and it's amazing. You don't see these too often, so when you see the Jet Set, it's always a cool thing. But then after that, of course, was the Cash collection, which had some nuclear themed skins for some reason, and then it had the Galil Cerberus, which in my opinion is one of my favorite Galils in the game, and then there's the FAMAS sticks. Next up was the Gods and Monsters collection, and this is the second time they added a really high tier op to the game. And this is the collection where they added, of course, the Medusa and the Poseidon, plus the Icarus Fell, the Sun and Leo, just a lot of great skins. But next up, of course, ladies and gentlemen, we have the Chop Shop collection. This collection has some great skins, of course. The P250 Whiteout, the Mac 10 Fade, the M4A1S Hot Rod, and then the Glock 18 Twilight Galaxy. Oh yeah, plus the Duelist too. And these skins actually have sapphire handles, which in my opinion makes them look freaking awesome. Speaking of freaking awesome, next up, ladies and gentlemen, we have the Rising Sun collection. This was like the Japanese collection that added some Asian themed skins, of course. You have the Sunset Storms, of course, both versions. Then of course there's the AK-47 Hydroponic, as well as the Akihabara Accept, the Weeb AUG. You guys know it. But now we're getting back into the regular cases. And next up we have the Falchion collection, of course, which this one had some, the Bunsen Burner, of course, was a cool skin when it came out. And then there's like the Ruby Poison Dart. And then, of course, there was the Op Hyper Beast, which was the second time they added a Hyper Beast to the game. And then, of course, there was also the AK-47 Aquamarine Revenge. And this was actually the first covert that I ever unboxed, believe it or not, back when it was $60. And then after that came the Shadow collection, which introduced the Shadow Daggers to the game. It also introduced the AK-47 Frontside Misty, which is still a really popular AK today, the USPS Kill Confirmed, as well as the M4A1S Golden Coil. And then after that came the revolver case, the infamous revolver case. It did have some cool skins after all, of course, like the Point Disarray AK, but it also had the R8 Revolver Fade and then the M4A4 Royal Paladin. So the reds in this case weren't really that amazing in my opinion. But however, after that came the Wildfire collection with Operation Wildfire. And this one had some bangers as well. The Op Elite build, of course, the AK-47 Fuel Injector, and the Battlestar, which is another skin that people don't really like that much, but the Fuel Injector is top tier. Oh yeah, also the Kimicho Dragon. And they brought the Hyper Beast to the Nova. After that was the 2018 Nuke collection. Yeah, this is really out of order. But next up, I guess, on the list is the 2018 Nuke collection. And this one kind of changed things up a little bit. This was the first time that they took a collection and just completely changed up the skins. This one had the Tech 9 remote control as well as the M4A1S control panel. And then also there was the 2018 Inferno collection, which had the MP7 Fade, the P250 Vino Primo, the AK Safety Net, as well as the SG Integral, which in my opinion, this is the best Krieg in the game. And then there was also the Dual Berettas Twin Turbos. And then there, of course, there was the P250 X-Ray. They did this because they added the X-Ray thing to France. But of course, on top of that though, there's also the Chroma 3 collection. And this one introduced the Primal Saber, the Chantico's Fire, as well as the PP Bison Judgment of Anubis. And this was the first time that there was actually like a really nice PP Bison skin in the game. Speaking of PP Bison, next up we have the Gamma collection, which came out in 2016. I actually remember when this came out. This case introduced the Desolate Space, of course. It also introduced the Phobos, which was made by the community. But of course, the coverts in this case were the Mecha Industries and the Glock Wasteland Rebel. Ladies and gentlemen, next up we have the Gamma 2 collection, which basically brought back all the Gamma skins, all the Gamma knives, and then it introduced a bunch of new regular Gamma skins. There's only one amazing skin in this case, and that's the Neon Revolution. But, you know, the roll cage is kind of like, it's okay, but it's not really my cup of tea. And all the other skins are kind of, you know, they're cool, but, you know, I feel like there's better skins out there. And then after that, they introduced gloves to the game in the form of the Glove Collection. And the reds in this case are top tier, of course. There's the M4A4 Buzzkill and the SSG Dragonfire. After that came the Spectrum collection, which introduced the Oxide Blaze, of course, as well as the M4A1S Decimator, the CZ Jianglu, the Op Fever Dream, as well as the AK Bloodsport and the USPS Neo Noir. This was a great case in my opinion. It just had a lot of awesome skins. After that came the Operation Hydra collection, which had the Op Oni Taiji. It also had the 5.7 Hyper Beast. And it had the Galil Sugar Rush plus the M4A4 Hellfire. And then also the AK Orbit MK1. So another case with a lot of great skins. After that came the Spectrum 2 collection, which in my opinion wasn't as good as the Spectrum 1 collection, but it still had the AK Empress, of course. It also had the P250 Seal Later, the M4A1S Lighted Glass, as well as the PP Bison High Roller. After that, they released the Clutch collection, which was the case that introduced a whole new set of gloves. It also introduced the M4A4 Neo Noir, the MP7 Bloodsport, the Op Mortis, of course, aka the Dragon Pour, and the Swag 7. After that came the Horizon collection, which had, like the Horizon collection, it had some cool skins, of course. It had the Op Paw, it had the Desert Eagle Code Red, the AK Neon Rider, and yeah, those are the main highlights. But honestly though, in my opinion, the AK Neon Rider is one of the best AKs in the entire game. It's so dope. And then of course we're getting into the last year's Operation skins, and we're going to start off with the St. Mark collection, which had one of the first pearlescent skins in the game, the Midnight Lily. It also had the Wild Lily, and it had the AK Wild Lotus, which is kind of like a flower themed AK. After that was the Canals collection, which had the dual Berettas Emerald, it had the MP9 stained glass, and of course the Cinqueta. And to top it all off, it also had the Op the Prince. And of course, there was one more collection. There was also the Norse collection too, which had the Astral Jormungandr, the Emerald Jormungandr, the Flame Jormungandr, the Negev Molnir, and the Op Obama's Last Name. This is my favorite op in the entire game because it just looks so cool. It's also pearlescent too, so it changes colors. And then after that, they also added the Danger Zone collection too, which had the Op Neo Noir as well as the AK-47 Asimov. Just two amazing skins that everybody loves. And then they took a little bit of a break and they went on to the Prisma collection, which introduced the Op Atheris, of course, as well as the Og Momentum, the M4A4 the Emperor, and the 5.7 Angry Mob. And after that, they also introduced the Shattered Web collection, which came out. I don't know why the collections are in a weird order. It's kind of weird, but this case had the Op Containment Breach, as well as the Mac 10 Stalker. After that, to celebrate the 20-year anniversary of CSGO, there was the CS20 collection, which had the FAMAS Commemoration, as well as the Op Wildfire, which in my opinion, this is another amazing op. After that, to one-up the Prisma 1 collection, they added the Prisma 2 collection, which this one had the Discotheque, which was the first pearlescent skin to have a really awesome pearlescent effect that just changes colors in a really dramatic way. They also had the AK Phantom Disruptor, which was actually a skin that I checked out. Well, I checked out a different variant of it in the workshop previously, so that was kind of cool. And then they also added the M4A1S Player 2, as well as the Glock Bullet Queen. After that was the Fracture collection, which was, of course, the next case after that. And this one had the AK-47 Legion of Anubis, as well as the Glock Vogue. And this is actually one of the most recent cases up until the operation, of course. They also added the Deagle Print Stream, which this was the first time they introduced a print stream skin to the game. And it's basically a white pearlescent skin with some like cool little details that change colors. And it's overall an amazing Deagle. But ladies and gentlemen, now we are up to today, essentially, or like a week ago, when they added the Operation Broken Fang collection. This one brought a lot of great skins. Of course, there's the Op Exoskeleton, which a lot of people think is one of the best new ops in the game. There's also the USPS Monster Mashup. There's the M4A4 Cybersecurity. There's the 5.7 Fairy Tale, of course, and then there's the M4A1S Print Stream and the Glock Neo Noir. And now, guys, we're getting into all the collections, starting off with the Control collection. I'd say the highlights from this one are definitely the M4A4 Global Offensive, the UMP Crime Scene, the 5.7 Berries and Cherries, the FAMAS Prime Conspiracy, even the USPS Target Acquired is really cool, and then, of course, the Blue Phosphor. Plus, you can't forget about the Op Fade. And then, of course, next up was the Havoc collection, which brought the Bengal Tiger P250, the Desert Eagle Night Heist, which the float on this thing's not that great, so it looks really scratched up. But there's the Galil Phoenix Backlight, which is another version of the Sugar Rush. And then, of course, there's the Mac 10 Hot Snakes, the Op Silk Tiger, and the AK-47 X-Ray. It's really similar to the P250 X-Ray, of course, but instead of being blue and green, it's more of yellowish, orange, and red. And then, of course, after that was also the Ancient collection, which introduced the P90 Run and Hide, the AK-47 Panther Ansa. I guess there's also the USPS Ancient Visions, but the best skin, of course, is the Welcome to the Jungle. And honestly, what do you guys think? Like, out of all the three new collections, what do you think is the best new covert? Is it the Welcome to the Jungle? Is it the AK X-Ray? Or is it the Op Fade? In my opinion, I like the Op Fade the most. And then the second most, and then I like the Welcome to the Jungle, and then the X-Ray. I mean, I think all the skins are awesome, but anything that's new and like hot and fresh is always awesome in my mind. But I wanted to make this video in a way where I actually kind of went through all the skins in the inventory and kind of showed off and talked about like my favorite skins. And just talked about overall the best skins in CSGO. So it took me a really long time to collect, of course, all the skins in CSGO. Earlier this year, I spent a couple weeks basically going through and collecting everything. That made it really easy to just collect all the new operation skins. Because all I realistically had to do was just sell a bunch of knives and stuff on the market, pick up a bunch of the skins when they were like relatively at a low point. And then I also traded the Flip Knife Sapphire for the Op Fade. I believe I might be the first person to have collected every CSGO skin post Broken Fang operation. But anyways, guys, let me know in the comments down below, what are your top Like, what are some of your favorite CSGO skins of all time? Be sure to leave a list and I'll be sure to give you guys some hearts because I do read all the comments, of course. And also like, comment, share, subscribe, click that bell icon. And if you guys want to see any videos related to skins, just let me know. But overall, guys, thank you so much for watching. Hope you guys have a fantastic rest of your day. And I want to thank you guys so much for all the support because I wouldn't have been able to do this without you guys. I want to give a big thank you to everybody watching right now. And I hope you guys are doing well. You know, stay safe, wash your hands. I will see you guys in the next video. So thank you guys so much for watching. It's Turbo and I'm out. Peace.